So, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Viz. Today, I have invited Hadi to come talk a little bit about his IronViz entry, which is pretty interesting because it uses a very unorthodox visualization, which is like a 3D bar chart. So, over to you, Hadi, to give a little intro of who are you and how your journey in Tableau has been.
Yes, hey, how are you? Thank you for having me. My name is Hadi. I'm located in Michigan State. I'm an epidemiologist, data analyst, and a clinical respiratory therapist. I'm also the co-owner of HelloFizz, which is a startup data solution and visualization small company. I learned Tableau during my master degree, and I started using it heavily actually during COVID time, like the peak of COVID when I was epidemiologist. And I used to work for the state health department, and we were scaling fast from a city level to a state level to then the United States level. And that was fast paced. Even though I had basic knowledge, I have to still push fast and learn fast during that time.
I see. So, you said you were basically uses a lot of data to analyze how diseases and illness spread across population, right? So I'm guessing that you probably had a lot to do in terms of analyzing data during the COVID period.
Correct. So as an epidemiologist during COVID, basically I will focus on the pattern of how the outbreak of COVID happened within city and how it's spread based on the population. And you will look, for example, what a group of people that it affected the most, maybe where we can pinpoint the risk factor in that city. But it goes more deeper because we collect the data from the hospital and we will give all details of the patients from the vaccines, the diseases, the history he has, all that, put them in one dashboard and we filter things. We see what could be contributing to this city, making it spread faster than other city, what they are doing wrong. Then maybe after analyzing this, we try to push policies or make decisions based on that analyzation we made.
That's really cool. Is there anything within your realms of being able to share? Was there any trends within COVID period that helped you to push forward a policy that helped many others along the way?
Yes. So there's many projects I can think of during COVID because it was fast paced, but one of them is we figured one of the hospital had more outbreak because the way they disinfect the disease was wrong, which contributed more on spreading the disease to an area of hospital should not. So at this point where we had to initiate specific policies for that hospital, where they have to follow certain infection control to prevent that fast spreading in that specific hospital, which will be called PPE. I forgot the project name, it was a long time ago, but it's more like a PPE infection control, which is protective equipment, how it should be maintained. And I remember we had to draw a map of the hospital as well, and I had to put it in the visualization to let them know where the stuff that is spread the most based on analysis we made.
Oh, that's really interesting. And I think your job probably comes with a lot of stress because you're dealing with human lives and time is of a critical factor, especially when you're analyzing data, right?
Correct, yes.
Cool. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your IronViz entry. This year's theme is about food and drink. So there's a lot of ways that the community has taken this theme. For you, you opted to do exploratory visualization on how you actually cook the different meats and the nutrients gets affected. So talk us a little bit through on how that inspiration came about to do this idea.
Yeah, if you notice, most of my visualization, like the public one, heavily based on interactivity, but also functionality at the same time. But for this specific fizz, after watching a lot of cooking TV shows, I had the idea that I wanted my audience to feel like they're really actually cooking in my kitchen. So there's no better way than doing a 3D kitchen and let them be in the kitchen and feeling that, but also delivering like an impactful result where they can see things live, how they do it. I
Hmm.
want you to interact fully within the kitchen there. I was going to do just basic nutrition one, but I noticed also in the health field, a lot of people focused on what you should eat, but they never focus on how you should cook it, which impact even more actually, because you pick all healthy food, but you're cooking wrongly, you're not doing anything, right? So that's where it came from.
That's really cool. So you were saying earlier on that you wanted to create that sort of interactivity within the kitchen. So this is how your visualization looks like. It's really clean, the design and everything. And like you said, there's a lot of interactivity within the viz itself. You could click on beef on the plate, you can click on the chicken, you can click on the eggs, and then you can click on the method of cooking. So you have deep
Yes.
fried, you have roast, you have boiled, and just watch the 3D bar charts change as you click on the different things. So this design itself, do you have a design background? Like,
Yeah, I didn't take any classes or something like that, but since I was a kid, my hobby was actually like drawing stuff through painting, oil painting, digital painting. And I picked up, I think in 2010 when Procreate came out, I just picked up the iPad. I was like, that would be nice to just doodle around. That might also, what do you call that? Like a peaceful spot in my mind whenever I feel like stressed. That's my thing
mm,
too. Because I work in a hospital all the time, fast paced and stuff like that. So maybe the painting, drawing, and designing is just something I do, but it got developed with time naturally for me. So yeah, and for this one, I started doing the blueprint first in Procreate and going back and forth between Lightroom and Procreate until I designed this kitchen.
so over here, what we see is the blueprint. So you started off blue background and just drawing out the different lines to make up the kitchen. How long did this
Yes.
whole process take? Like getting from this to the final product?
So the design took longer than actually doing the viz itself. So this took about, I'll say, 3 weeks because I first did the blueprint, but then I have to design each navigation or buttons or the controls, which is the eggs and the stove or the air fryer, all this, I have to do them also aside. This took longer time because you gotta think about the shadowing, the lighting, all that. So every time I do an element, I have to go back, put it inside the kitchen and see if it looks more real or not, then go back and forth and use the other application. So total took a month to do the whole fizz with every single thing. It's longer than usual because I don't know if I have OCD, but I go back a lot, back and forth, especially in design stuff. I'm never satisfied with whatever I want to do. And if you look back on the blueprint, I also did the vegetable basket and fruit basket, but I didn't do it in the fizz because it's going to take longer to do that because the idea was also to let you pick variety of vegetables, basically make your own dish. But that will take a long time because not only I designed it, I also built the data from scratch. So that also took longer. That's what make it like from A to Z, you know.
So you're saying that this project is designed to evolve over time, meaning to say that you're
It
probably going to
does.
expand the size of the kitchen and potentially more food being added
Yeah.
into it.
The idea is to I put that shelf, like there's two shelves there. I kept them deliberately empty. So if I
Mhm.
want to add any other element, for example, vegetables there or fruit in the future, which I already have the basket ready and made. You click in the basket, then you will have a window and you will get to pick what type of vegetables you want to see. And there is a lot of possibility. I can expand this project, but it's gonna take a lot of a time.
I'm excited to
But
see where you take this because that is a very interesting way of creating a viz. The other thing that I wanted to chat on is also your visualization. I initially thought it was like 3D polygon shapes that you drew, and then you have like different shades of the color. But
correct.
it turns out that it's actually a 3D shape that you probably drew in Procreate or Lightroom.
The cube, no, this is I downloaded. This is the only thing I have downloaded. These cubes is just an icon, like free to use. You can find them anywhere. I downloaded them. I initially did my own cubes, but I found these more like nicer shaded. And it's just, I already taken so much time on the drawing. I don't want to waste time. I just put them in. I was like, they're the right size. They're just an icon. Then you just create the bath and you make it look like a 3D bar.
This is really interesting because if I just show the header a little bit and clear the axis, you can see that all of this is just separate items. If you change this
Correct.
to a circle, it's just overlapping one another.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because the axis kind of squished together, so it creates the
Correct.
illusion that it's one entire bar by itself, which I
Yes.
thought was a very ingenious way of doing this. I thought you had it more complicated, but just because
Yeah,
the viz looks complicated doesn't mean that the calculations need to be.
that's true. Because also, if you notice, all the nutrition is based on 100 gram. So the bar would not extend that far enough where you get to see the cubes separated. So they can be compressed where it's still looking like a 3D bar going, as you mentioned, like compressed wise, right? And that's the idea of having all the food also limited to 100 grams.
So in order to do that, I think you employed a very essential technique in data analysis, which is normalization. So I think what you did over here was that you fix the axis, but the
Yes.
value itself is actually just taking the value of the index, which is the actual value divided by this maximum value, which is a window max
Yes.
function. So it returns you a value from 0 to 100. And basically,
Mhm.
this is where you look at
Correct.
the maximum value.
Yes. That's one way of doing this. And I think with this easy calculation, you can do a lot of things with it, like not just this shape. You can create anything you want as long as you know how to design, like can merge and make a shape of what you want, not just a 3D design.
Yeah, this is interesting. I can see this evolving if you decide to go down game design and game development. I can see this evolving into a game as well.
You think
Much
so?
like yeah, much like the games of I think in the past we had like Nintendo DS where you have Cooking
Yes.
Mama and you can select the ingredient, drop it in the dish, chop up the
Oh,
onions and stuff like that.
yeah. I'm a gamer too. I play a lot of games, so I can see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Nice. What's the most impactful game that you played this year?
Oh, I played Elder Ring. I played all the
Mm.
Dark Soul games, but in Nintendo form, I played Animal Crossing. Believe it or not, it's like I know a lot of people get shocked. You play Animal Crossing and you play Dark Soul games. I was like, I know, but
It's a bit of an
I
extreme on
grow
both
up.
ends.
Yeah, I think I'm like this. I don't know if I'm weird or not. Like a lot of people get confused. I have a lot of different weird skill combined together, but I like a little bit of both. But yeah.
Yeah, I can see that because it's like sometimes if you play a specific genre for too long, you want to kind of balance it out, especially when you're playing games that are so technically, I would say, like you require a lot of skills to play Elden Ring. It's not your easy game where you just breeze through the story. There's very technical and time-based actions that you need to take. Like when the boss is attacking you, you need to parry or dodge at the right moment.
Yes.
It's a very demanding game. That was the word I was looking for.
There is a lot of games I buy and I keep them the shelf I want to play. I didn't get the time to do that. But if it's up to me, I would quit my job and just keep playing all the games I have. But yeah.
I mean, the holidays is around the corner, so hopefully
Yeah.
things don't get too busy over at your industry and you get to spend a little time playing games and relaxing.
I hope so.
Alrighty. So I think we have everything we need from you, Hadi, on this visualization. I'm really excited to see how, like, be it expanding the rooms or expanding the dishes, expanding the functionality of this Viz. So I'll be bookmarking this and keeping an eye to see where you take this.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much for sharing your process. I hope everyone gets inspired and learns something from this. And we'll see everyone at the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you for having me again.